There is a new social media disagreement that has caught the attention of many Kenyans. It involves two very well-known personalities, Vera Sidika and Akothee. What started as a conversation about Kenya Airways quickly turned into a back and forth between the two women, with Vera Sidika bringing out receipts to defend herself. At the center of the disagreement was a simple question. Does Vera actually use Kenya Airways, or does she mostly fly foreign airlines, as Akothee suggested? But beyond Vera and Akothee, this story has opened up a much bigger debate. When a celebrity, influencer, or brand ambassador is associated with a company, should their job simply be to promote that company? Or should they also listen when ordinary customers complain and use their influence to push the company to improve? And when someone criticizes a company that you represent, should you defend the company or listen to the complaint? The disagreement began with a conversation surrounding Kenya Airways, commonly known as KQ, the Kenya's national carrier. KQ has a special place in the country because it's not just another airline. It's one of Kenya's most recognizable national brands and describes itself as the pride of Africa. But like many large companies, Kenya Airways also receives criticism from customers from time to time. Passengers have complained about things such as delays, customer service, communication, and baggage-related issues. And importantly, KQ itself provides official channels through which customers can submit complaints and feedback. So when customers complain publicly on social media, it's not necessarily because they hate the company. Sometimes they're simply frustrated customers who want a better service. That appears to be where Vera Sidika came into the picture. Vera publicly complained about her experience with Kenya Airways. Instead of simply accepting the criticism, however, Akothee appeared to challenge the credibility of Vera's complaint. The argument was essentially that Vera was not in a strong position to criticize KQ because, according to Akothee's comments, Vera mostly uses Arab airlines, and that's where things became interesting. Vera Sidika did not simply ignore the comments. Instead, she responded. And rather than responding with just words, Vera brought up receipts and records showing that she has actually traveled using Kenya Airways. This was important because the argument had now shifted. It was no longer simply, I had a bad experience with KQ. It had become, you cannot say I don't use KQ when I can show you evidence that I do. Vera's response was basically an attempt to establish that she was not some outsider sitting at home attacking Kenya Airways. She was a customer. She had used the airline and therefore she believed she had every right to talk about her experience. This is an important point. You can love a company and still complain about its service. In fact, some of the most valuable customers are the ones who complain when something goes wrong because they are giving the company an opportunity to improve. Akothee is a well-known Kenyan personality and entrepreneur, and she has built a huge public presence online. If she believed that Vera was unfairly attacking Kenya Airways, she had every right to defend the company or question the criticism. Perhaps her point was that people should not create a negative impression of a Kenyan company without considering the bigger picture. And that's a conversation worth having. Because sometimes social media can become extremely unfair to local companies. A single bad experience can go viral. Thousands of people can see it, and suddenly the entire company is portrayed as terrible. But one customer's experience does not necessarily represent the experience of every passenger. At the same time, however, the fact that someone else had a good experience does not cancel out another person's bad experience. Both things can be true at the same time. Akothee can have a positive experience with KQ. Vera can have a negative experience with KQ, and both can be telling the truth about their own experiences. It will be very easy to turn this into a simple Vera versus Akothee battle, but the bigger issue is not really about which woman won the argument. The bigger issue is about customer feedback. Imagine going to a restaurant and having a terrible experience. You tell the restaurant manager. Instead of asking what happened, The manager responds, "But other people love our food." Will that solve your problem? Probably not. The fact that thousands of customers had a good experience does not mean your experience was automatically invalid. The same principle applies to airlines. If Vera had a bad experience, she is allowed to talk about it. If Akothee had excellent experiences with KQ, she's also allowed to say that. The important thing is that criticism should ideally be based on genuine experiences and facts. And that's why Vera's decision to show evidence of her KQ travel was significant. She was essentially saying, "I'm not just talking, I actually use this airline." So what exactly should a brand ambassador do? Traditionally, a brand ambassador is someone who represents a company or product. They promote the brand, they create awareness, they encourage people to buy or use the product. They associate their public image with the company. But in today's social media world, I think their role should go beyond simply posting advertisements. A good influencer or brand ambassador can become a bridge between the company and its customers. Think about it. A company may have thousands or even millions of customers, but a major influencer can reach hundreds of thousands of people instantly. If those people are complaining about the same thing, the influencer can bring that information to the attention of the company. Being a brand ambassador does not necessarily mean defending everything the company does. If a company makes a mistake, an ambassador does not have to pretend that the mistake did not happen. In fact, constantly defending the company against legitimate criticism could eventually damage the ambassador's own credibility. Imagine an influencer constantly telling their followers, "This company is perfect, nothing is wrong." Yet thousands of customers are complaining. People will eventually stop believing the influencer. But imagine another brand ambassador saying, "I love this brand, but I've seen the complaints, I've spoken to the company, and I hope they address this issue." That person may actually gain more respect. Why? Because they appear genuine. Influencers have enormous power. A celebrity can post something in the morning, and by lunchtime, thousands of people have seen it. That means influence comes with responsibility. If an influencer promotes an airline, bank, restaurant, phone company, or telecommunications provider, they're essentially telling their audience, "I trust this brand." So when that same audience later complains about the brand, should the influencer at least listen? I'm not saying the influencer has to solve every customer's problem. That would be unrealistic. But they can listen. They can ask questions. They can forward complaints. They can encourage the company to improve. They can say, "Guys, I hear you. Let me raise this with the company." This is much more useful than simply saying, "Stop complaining. The company is good." However, influencers also need to be careful. They cannot automatically assume that every complaint is genuine. Some complaints can be exaggerated. Some can be based on misunderstandings. Some people may leave out important information. And sometimes the company may actually be right. We saw an example of how complicated airline complaints can become when Kenya Airways addressed a viral confrontation involving a passenger and an airline employee in 2025. KQ said the viral video did not show the full context and provided its explanation of what happened. The lesson here is simple. Don't rush to judgment. Influencers should listen to customers, but they should also investigate before making serious accusations. Companies need to listen too. If customers repeatedly complain about the same problem, the answer cannot always be, "Our company is great." The real question should be, why are people complaining? And this is where social media can actually help businesses. Complaints can reveal problems that management may not see from inside the company. Maybe communication is poor. Maybe customers are waiting too long. Maybe staff need better training. Maybe passengers are not receiving enough information during delays. Maybe complaints are not being handled quickly enough. The company can use these complaints as free market research. And Kenya Airways already has a formal feedback system where passengers can submit complaints and attach supporting documents. So public complaints should ideally be seen as part of a larger feedback ecosystem. Personally, I think the best outcome from this controversy would be for everyone to step back and ask, how can Kenya Airways become better? Because at the end of the day, Vera and Akothee are not the only people who fly KQ. There are ordinary Kenyans who save money for months to buy an airline ticket. There are business travelers, there are students, there are families traveling abroad, there are Kenyans living overseas, there are tourists coming into Kenya. For many of these people, an airline ticket represents a significant amount of money. They deserve good service. And if they complain, they deserve to be heard. So what do we take away from the Vera, Sidika and Akothee controversy? First, having a bad experience with the company does not automatically mean the entire company is bad. Second, having a good experience with the company does not mean everyone else had the same exact experience. Third, customers should be allowed to complain without automatically being accused of attacking a brand. And finally, brand ambassadors and influencers need to understand the power they have. Being a brand ambassador should not simply mean posting beautiful pictures, saying nice things about a company, and collecting a check. Influencers have direct access to the people who actually use these products. They hear the complaints, they see the frustrations, they know what customers are saying. That makes them uniquely positioned to help companies improve. So perhaps the ideal ambassador is not someone who blindly defends a brand. The ideal ambassador is someone who can say, I believe in this company, but I also hear the customers. Here are the problems they are raising. Let's see how we can make things better. That kind of ambassador is far more valuable because ultimately, a strong brand does not need people to pretend that it has no problems. A strong brand needs people who are willing to point out those problems and help find solutions. And maybe that's the biggest lesson from the Vera Sidika and Akothee KQ drama. Don't just defend the brand. Listen to the people who keep the brand alive. What do you think? Was Vera justified in defending herself with receipts? Was Akothee simply defending a Kenyan brand? Or should both of them have focused more on the actual customer service issue? Let me know what you think about this in the comments. And if you enjoyed this discussion, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more Kenyan entertainment, celebrity, and social media stories.